So Asia Wilson has been named Time Women of the Year along with 12 other people. And she comes out and plays the victim again. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our channel. I'm Mark.
And I'm Rob.
So, hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. Hit the notification bell when you do so you get notified of our next video. So, as everybody knows, Asia Wilson's the most annoying woman in sports and probably the world. I thought it was Angel Reese, but Asia Wilson is taking the lead, Rob. And after she won Time Woman of the Year along with 12 other women, one other athlete. Everybody made the same joke. Is she going to have to share it with all the other women in the league or not? So make Sheila Johnson happy. So, and probably not, because it's Asia Wilson. The rules are different for Asia Wilson than they are for Caitlin Clark, obviously. So, anyways, they interviewed them, all the people that won, and we're just going to concentrate on what the interview with her, of course. And they talked about Caitlin Clark, made a poignant statement addressing the privileges she believes is present in her life in her previous article in Time when she was voted for Time Athlete of the Year for women. And she said, I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege. A lot of those players in the league that have been really good have been black players. This league has kind of been built on them. The more we can appreciate that, highlight that, talk about that, I think it's very important. I have to continue to try to change that. Now, I'm of the opinion that she was basically saying that white people have privilege in general in society, but that she didn't have privilege on the basketball court, which is why she said I worked hard and earned everything I got. And I think, Rob, you agreed with me on that. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's just talking about society in the U.S. right now.
Some people took it a different way. I think they're wrong. I think the nuance of that was so complicated. She didn't want to get into it. She was just basically making people happy by acknowledging that white people in general in society have privilege. But she didn't say that about basketball. I don't even think she meant it. So I think people took that the wrong way, some people anyways. And then she also said, the more we can elevate black women, that's going to be a beautiful thing. And that caused some discussion in the basketball community, quite a bit, actually. And some people praised Clark and some didn't like it. And some people said they weren't even going to follow her anymore because they think she's woke, what I call overly woke. And I thought that was silly because I thought you were following her because she was an athlete.
Right.
You liked how she played basketball.
Right. I thought that was the main reason. What does it have to do with anything?
And this is what Asia Wilson had to say about Caitlin Clark's comment that she made in her interview. It's powerful to me. As a black woman in the WNBA, we have struggles in showcasing who we really are. Okay, so I want to stop right there. Who you really are in terms of a basketball player or in terms of the social agendas that you want to push.
Or the type of person who you are, who you project yourself as, and what struggles are you having for your showcasing? Showcasing what?
Right. I think black women have an advantage in basketball. I think the white women, people automatically don't think they're going to be as good. They did that with Larry Bird. So, because they think he's too slow and all that kind of stuff, and they don't jump as high. She went on, a lot of agendas get pushed on a lot of different platforms that may shadow us. You work so hard, but you still have to work 10 times harder just to be seen. Now, she's talking about the WNBA here and not life in general and not society in general, because that's what she said in her first sentence, as a black woman in the WNBA. So she's delusional that she doesn't get as much attention as the white people do in the WNBA, or at least not 10 times harder, that she had 10 times more. And where she's getting 10 times, I have no idea, Rob.
I don't know why they have to. I mean, they seem to interject. I don't know how you can get away from that. Instead of just talking about the WNBA in their agenda, they seem to get away from try to institute the way society is here in the U.S. They got to leave that out of that. I mean, leave the race part out of it. I mean, I don't believe she worked 10 times. No black woman in the WNBA has worked 10 times harder just to be seen. I mean, they're right on the court and they can be seen. We see you. You're black and you're good. Okay.
Well, I know. Here's what the bottom line is. Caitlin Clark gets tons of attention, and she wants all the attention that Caitlin Clark gets. And so since it's unfair to her, because all she sees is race, she doesn't see the fact that Caitlin Clark's a very exciting player. She thinks that has to be the reason. When in essence, that's not the reason for 90% of the attention Caitlin Clark gets. And she can't accept that. So she goes on. So when we can have our counterparts speak up, it speaks volumes to me because they're in spaces where my path is never supposed to go. It's crazy that we're talking about that in 2025, but it's real. It is crazy that she's talking about it in 2025.
Yeah, exactly.
For a different reason.
Yeah.
We see those things as Black women. We see where people stand up and speak for us. I don't know who's speaking up for Black women, Rob. They speak up just fine in society. And even more so in the WNBA, they speak up more than anybody else.
Yeah, they have no problem. There's no problem with that.
She went on. I know Clark got a lot of backlash from that because obviously we live in a world where they don't want that, and it's exhausting. Where they don't want what? They don't want that people say white privilege exists, or that in a world where people don't want white privilege taken away. I have no idea what she means.
Well, I think she's saying that. I think she's saying this isn't where they don't want where a white person promotes a black person, and if they do that, then they're called woke, which is like stupid. Which is I don't understand.
It's exhausting to her because she's obsessed with race, I would maintain. But okay, I'll go on. But imagine dealing with that and then having to go out and play every single night, having to constantly worry, how are they about to downgrade my resume now? Well, we've already covered that. I don't think people underrate Black women on the basketball court. Maybe in society in general, a little bit in business, but not on the basketball court. I would maintain that they get rated higher than Black women because just for the reason I gave before, that they think white people aren't as athletic on a basketball court. So
I don't know about the little bit in business. That's in general in business. Women in general are not deemed that high in any color in business. So
no, I can see in society where people might question the capabilities of a Black person by some white people that are in power. But that's it. It's overstated, but I can see that. That's where the white privilege comes in, which I don't think is a privilege. I think it's a slight white advantage. But that's my personal view. I don't like the word privilege. I don't think it's as accurate as the word advantage. But anyways, I'll go on. What more do I have to do in order to showcase how elite and how serious I take my job? I think everybody knows how serious you take your job. And people are watching you play, and you're getting more people to watch you play because of Caitlin Clark. But you're still complaining about Caitlin Clark. I don't know what to say, Rob. I'll go on. But I also do it with love and passion and fun. I don't think so, Rob. I don't think she looks like she's having fun out there.
Well, she's having fun. Just that, she's obviously having fun. She's scoring and everything. She's having fun playing. She's just getting into the social thing. That's all. She's bringing that. She should just get rid of that. Go out there, like she says, have passion and have fun and play. I mean, she's gone. I mean, as a Black woman, she hasn't really gone through the really big struggles. She's had a kind of like easy way, path to what she is now. I mean, she's just enjoy what she has. Oh my gosh, she's more like privileged, more privileged than most black women in the U.S. actually.
Well, she went on. A lot of people don't want to see me at the top, and that's fine. But I'm going to be there because I've worked my butt off to get there. Who are all these people she's talking about that don't want to be at the top? She was voted MVP unanimously last year. Obviously, that's not true. And obviously, they're not downgrading her resume just because of what happened last year where she got voted MVP before the season started. So she's delusional, and she's always playing the victim, and she's the most annoying woman in sports as far as I'm concerned. This is exhausting for me. I have a privilege in a lot of different ways. So she finally admits that she has. So why is it okay that she has a privilege, but it's not okay for someone else to have a privilege? I just want to know.
Yeah, that's what I was alluding to. she's very privileged. I mean, one, she's playing a sport, she's getting paid. What does she really have to worry about?
Rob, she grew up with a 2-parent household with
Right,
good money. She went to a private school where her dad played basketball, and she just coincidentally turned out to be 6'4", not coincidentally because of the genes. And that's a privilege right there that she doesn't understand. It's a privilege to be an athlete in this country in any kind of sport where you can make money, because
right,
people want to do that for a living as opposed to doing other types of things that aren't as fun.
right.
So she doesn't see that. I have a privilege in a lot of different ways. I can be in spaces where a lot of other Black women, white women, however you want to see it or not, but that's where I'm going to try to use my privilege of being a professional athlete to help others, because that's what gives me my why. Oh my God, she finally said something I agree with. She's going to try to help other people. I don't see that. I don't see her trying to help other people, but okay, let's just say she is. So clap, steps, all the in between, because I know it's hard to speak out on that. That's why I try to speak out as much as I can, but people see it a different way. That's okay. I want people to understand that when people speak up about us as Black women in rooms that we may not be in, that means a lot, because it's a little piece of us that can hold that door open for us to walk through. So I'm grateful. All right. I'm not sure where she's coming from there, but she also talked about the three-peat. Not getting the three-peat was hard. The regret is the hardest thing that I've had to deal with this offseason, because I'm like, what could I have done differently to get a different outcome, when in reality, it just wasn't our time. Well, she also talked about, Rob, in a previous thing that we didn't do a video on, but other people did, where she felt that the locker room from the very beginning wasn't conducive to a championship team, but yet she didn't do anything to solve the problem, so people called her a poor leader. And then she kind of blamed her teammates for not having the right attitude, when it was up to her as a leader to improve them and to change that, in my opinion.
Yeah, she didn't come across to me as a leader. She was not a very good leader.
No, Rob, I actually think that she did not show that she was a good leader this year. She didn't carry the team well when Chelsea Gray was injured. They didn't play well. And also, I think they were super talented the 2 years they won the championship. And that hid the fact that she wasn't a good leader. They had 4 Olympians on those teams that won.
Yeah.
They had a 5th Olympian. Candace Parker was on the team 1 year. 4 in the current Olympian squad and 5 altogether, because Candace Parker was on it previously.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think she's delusional, Rob. And I think she's the ultimate victim in sports. And I don't know what else to say about her besides
I think
that.
Like you said, she's had a privileged life, and just go on and enjoy it. I mean, she's going to have fun. Play the sport to have fun, and not worry about what society is, because fortunately, our society here in the U.S. is not going to change. It's getting worse. I'm not going to get into that, but I mean, yeah, just go out there and play the game, and stop worrying about too many things.
Well, she can't, Rob. She's obsessed with race. She thinks that she was at this big disadvantage throughout her whole life. And, when she went into basketball, she really wasn't. She didn't go into business. So I don't think. And like I said, I think the conservative Black people say there's no advantage at all. There's no privilege at all. And some white people say there's a slight advantage. And I think it gets overstated. But in basketball, it's irrelevant to this, because in basketball, it's not a disadvantage. And she may get a little less attention because she's Black instead of white. I will acknowledge that. But she's not getting attention because she's not an exciting basketball player. That's the main reason.
And I kind of have to disagree with you one thing, Mark, that as far as the white athletes or players, especially in baskall, that thing of where the white person is not that good in basketball is kind of gone out the window, I think, because it just shows that, I mean, all the teams that I'm looking at, especially with the women's basketball teams, most of the best players on the team are white. So, and there's this.
Well, I've heard Black people say that themselves, that they question the ability of white players because reputation is for being slow
Well,
and can't jump high enough.
well, I mean,
I've heard him say that, you know.
that's a stereo. I mean, that goes back to what that stereotypes. That stereotyping both races that we're supposed to be the great athletes. And I know some black people that cannot play basketball, lick a basketball. So
Well, I know that that's we're talking about the players that are playing basketball. I'm
yeah,
saying if they have that thought in their mind, they're underrating the white person until they prove themselves on the basketball court.
no, also, like I said, they're also overrating that only blacks can play basketball. It's kind of like a stereotype of both sides.
I understand that, but I'm
So,
saying I think it exists, not to a great degree, because once the white person shows they can play, they just forget all about the fact that they think they're less athletic.
and I think the young kids don't care about that. It's people who are older who care about that crap.
Right. I'm sure that is true to a certain extent. I think the young people are less likely to see race than some of the people that in our generation and generations underneath us before, and not the really young generation. Hopefully it's changing slowly, but I know Rob went to Japan and didn't want to come back because he thinks our country's obsessed with race and things like that.
Well, I coached most of the teams I coached. Most of the players were white, so I'm a black coach coaching mostly white. I coached the rich white in San Francisco. Most of my players were Pacific Heights, one of the richest parts of San Francisco or in the country. You know, I coached Boss Skaggs' kid, and a kid I coached the Gap, the owner of Gap, his daughters. So to me, but I was black, but I didn't care about that. They were just players, and they didn't care I was a black coach. They were just I'm coach. With the clipboard, he threw his clipboard.
Well, this will continue for the rest of Asia Wilson's career, because until she gets as much attention as Caitlin Clark, which will never happen, she will not be happy. She feels she should have just as much attention as Caitlin Clark. She feels she should have more attention than Caitlin Clark because she feels she's better than Caitlin Clark, which is fine. I think she is right now. It's going to change this year, but it's going to get worse, Rob, because as Caitlin Clark becomes better and gets MVPs and championships, the attention on her is going to go even higher, and the attention on Asia Wilson go even lower.
Yeah, she'll probably trip out even more, which is kind of sad. Instead of you know, like we used to say, is I thought women were for women. They would applaud and say, "Yeah, you go, girl. That's great." No, it's like I said before. Hey, who she thinks she is? This white girl. She can't even shoot.
Well,
she can't even dribble. You know,
Rob,
I
thought black women were for diversity, and lesbians were for diversity too. But when a straight white woman comes into your league, you don't want diversity. You want to try to hold her down because you don't like the diversity that's in your league now.
Right.
That's what I see. I think it's a shame because that's how they treated Caitlin Clark for that reason. They don't want to see the diversity. If the attention's not on them, then it's no good because they feel they should have the attention. They feel society is not giving them enough attention outside the basketball world. And so they take it out on Caitlin Clark in the basketball world. That's what happens.
Right, exactly. They bring what they're against in the society, they bring it into the WNBA, which is kind of strange.
Well, they're a bunch of hypocrites is what it is. So that's all that happened with Caitlin Clark. Yes, she got a little bit more attention because she was white, but not nearly as much as they say. It's because she's a very exciting player and a great player who puts a lot of hard work into it. And in terms of the attention she gets and the shoe deals and the endorsements, it's just like the Tim Duncan, Allen Iverson comparison that people have made several times. Tim Duncan was the best player in the league, but got very little attention and very few endorsements. He did do some commercials, but he didn't sell shoes. Allen Iverson did. And Allen Iverson was the best player in the league for a little bit too, but most of the time he wasn't. He got one MVP. So he was just a very exciting player.
Tim Duncan he didn't care about the limelight or not. He just went out and did his thing and won championships.
I know. Tim Duncan didn't have Asia Wilson's attitude. So why is that? I don't know. You have to ask Asia Wilson and Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan was happy with the fact that he was making millions and millions of dollars and winning championships and MVPs.
Yeah, exactly.
So he never spoke up that he was jealous of Allen Iverson or Michael Jordan or LeBron James or anybody else who got more attention than him. And that's just the way it is. And people have pointed that out before, but Asia Wilson has rejected that. She said because it's hard for her to accept that someone makes plays it more exciting than her. And she may have worked hard, but I maintain that I don't think anyone's ever worked harder than Caitlin Clark at becoming good at basketball.
Because of the reason that I don't think she was as talented. I mean, Wilson had the background with her family of a little that DNA background where she was going to be a good athlete, and then she grew to be 6'4". Caitlin, I'm sure her parents played the ball, but it was different. She had to really work on her talent and work her way up. Yeah, she would have to work a lot harder to be to where she is.
But she doesn't see that. She doesn't see the advantages she had in basketball. But Caitlin Clark's 4 inches shorter than her. So there's a lot of other players in the league are shorter than her. And last I checked, being tall is an advantage in basketball.
Yeah,
you can't teach height.
Can't teach height. That's right. Can't coach height.
You can't coach it from Rob's perspective, right? So, anyways, let us know what you think down below. And if you like this video, hit the like button. And we have a huge announcement for all our listeners. We are going to have a new show as part of our live show on Monday nights. I'm so excited for this. If anyone's ever seen the Sports Reporters, it's basically the same format as the Sports Reporters. And our live show used to be from 6 to 8. It's going to be from Eastern time every Monday, except for major holidays like Labor Day, Memorial Day. We will do the live show from 6 to 8:30. But the first hour is going to be like a Sports Reporters show, and it's called Caitlin Clark's Crossover. I'm going to invite other podcasters that cover Caitlin Clark, and 80 to 90% of the topic is going to be about Caitlin Clark. Occasionally, it will be about football or basketball if there's big news, because our channel is about football and basketball, but we ended up talking a lot about Caitlin Clark because that's what our listeners wanted. So we wanted to make them happy. So that's what we're doing. So I'm very excited. Right now, Rudy from Come On Podcast and Adrian Ross from the Adrian Ross Show are going to be here next on this Monday coming up, and one other person too. Not sure who that's going to be yet. Anyways, so join us for that, 6 to 7, Caitlin Clark's Crossover, every Monday night, Eastern time. Okay. Anyways, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. The notification bell when you do so you get notified of our next video. And if you want, you can donate to this channel with super chats and super thanks. And there's a link to PayPal. And we'll see you in the next video.
Peace out.